Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Aroa, and in this video I'm going to share with you tips for moving abroad alone. So a little bit about me. So I am originally from Madrid, Spain, and I moved abroad alone to two countries. So the first country I moved alone by myself was the United States, and I moved there when I was 17. I did my last year of high school because back then I was a minor. So I did my last year of high school with a host family, an American host family, and I lived there for a year. And then I applied to university in the US, and I went to university in the US. So overall I lived in the US for 5 years total, but I moved there on my own. My family stayed in Spain because obviously they work in Spain. So I did that by myself. And the second time is when I graduated university in the US and I moved to the UK also by myself, where I now work professionally. So yeah, if I have experience with something, that is moving abroad alone. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys my top tips for moving abroad alone and feeling at home. How do you get yourself used to a different culture? How do you get yourself used to a new country? And how do you make the most of it? Anyway, so I have my notes of the main things that I'm going to cover in this video. So I'm going to say all the bullet points, all the main ideas before, so that if you want to skip to a different part of the video, you can do that. But first of all, I'm going to talk about the importance of getting yourself in the crowd, meaning as in getting yourself immersed in the local culture with local friends instead of actually taking your friends or finding people from your home country. So that's the first one. I will expand on this later on. Then I'm going to talk about shyness and how important it is to leave shyness behind. It doesn't work well when you're moving abroad. I'll tell you why. Then third one, don't be scared of asking questions. Okay, questions are so important. And sometimes they sound stupid, especially for the locals, but they're not stupid for you, okay? So I'll expand on it later. I'm going to talk about the importance of observing how the locals behave instead of going in with your own cultural background, pretending that you're completely normal. It's so important to observe before you go in and mix yourself with the crowd. And it's so important to be patient. So I'm going to talk about the importance of patience as well. Okay, so those are the main topics. Now we are going to get started with topic number one, which was getting yourself in the crowd. Okay, so what I mean by getting yourself in the crowd is literally fit in and force yourself to fit in with the local culture. So don't bring yourself your group of friends, or don't focus on finding your group of friends from your home country. It's not that it won't help you, it will, and it's obviously so much easier to go out with people that have the same cultural background as you do, but it's not where you'll get the most value from being abroad. Really, it is on mixing and learning how to form relationships with the local people. So that's my first tip. It will also help you to make yourself feel at home. When you feel like you can connect with the locals and make really good friends with the locals, you stop feeling a foreigner. Okay, it's so much easier for you to feel at home when you're abroad, when you really connect with the crowd and the local culture. Okay. Now expanding on this even more, in terms of language, you get so much more value when, for example, you're moving to a foreign country that actually has a completely different native language and you're mixing with the locals, because you are learning like slang language, you're learning culture, you're learning so much more that if you spend your days mixing with people from your home country in that foreign country. Okay, so that's my tip number one. Okay, it made me so much happier to have American friends when I was in the US and to have British friends when I am here in the UK, because I feel more at home. I feel like I belong here even though I'm foreign. Okay, so that's my first tip. Number two is leave shyness behind. Okay, I can't stress this enough. Like, I was such a shy kid before. You wouldn't even like imagine, but I was probably the shyest child in my class. Okay, I was so shy when I was a little girl, and it just doesn't help. Okay, you cannot get anywhere by not talking. You know what I mean? It's like you have to talk to get to places. You know what I mean? And you have to connect with people. You have to socialize. You have to be much more than shy. Okay, shyness is only going to help you to take things the wrong way. And when weird situations come up, which by the way, when you are in a foreign country, a lot of weird situations come up, you're gonna feel very like insecure. Okay, when people don't get you in a crowd of locals and you're the one that is a foreign and they laugh for something that they don't get, you know what I mean? You are gonna be so insecure if you're shy. So don't be shy. You have to push through your shyness and learn how to be more confident in yourself. I mean, that is one of the key aspects of moving abroad, and one of the reasons why a lot of people prefer moving abroad with someone else is because at the end of the day, they're shy, they're afraid, they're scared. And this is what I mean. It's so much better when you're so confident on yourself and you trust yourself and you're just going to go get it and you can do it on your own. So yes, shyness does not work. It will not help, and you should get rid of it as much as possible. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start talking about the next thing, which is to ask questions. Okay, I know how intimidating it can be sometimes to ask questions when you just arrive new to a new place and everything is a question. Like literally you have questions about everything and you have questions about things that for them is just completely normal. Okay, so I know how intimidating it is to ask a question that for you is so important to ask, but for them is like literally such a stupid question. Ask your questions. I cannot stress this enough, because the situation is difficult and challenging enough. You are putting yourself out of your comfort zone. You are putting yourself in a completely different place, different culture, with people that you've never met and people that have different cultural values. Things are going to be shocking for you. Ask questions. If something is not clear, ask the question. Even if it's the most stupid question, they will laugh. They will laugh. I will tell you that they will laugh, because for them it's so weird that you ask that question, but for you it's so important, especially if you're gonna be there working. Okay, because I cannot tell you how horrible it is that you arrive to a new place, okay, and you try your best to do your job and you miss on one word because you're speaking a foreign language in some kind of country that you've never lived before. You miss one word, you think you understand, and then you do the wrong thing. And then that hurts your performance, that hurts your reputation in your job. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have doubts, if you think they said something but you're not sure, ask them to repeat, ask them to clarify, ask, and ask, okay? Even if you think you got it right, it's probably good to double check, okay? Until you've been like working there for quite a long time and you already get the locals. But what I'm trying to say is, please, if you feel like you're not sure of something, you should be asking the question. It will help your journey. And the more questions you ask, remember, the less questions you'll have to ask in the future. Okay, because all your questions get solved, so there'll be a moment when you feel like you don't have a question. Okay, so yes, ask your questions. Okay, so the next tip, guys, is to observe, okay? It's so important to observe how the locals behave, okay? Why? Because, for example, me as a Spaniard, okay, Spanish people have a very, very different way of relating to each other. We are so much more touchy. We kind of touch people's bodies when we meet. Like literally when we meet, we've just met someone, we give people 2 kisses. So my lips will touch the other person's cheek, okay? And that's completely normal. It's the way we are in Spain. We like to kiss each other when we just meet. Now that, for example, for a British person is extremely weird, especially for a British person that doesn't know how Spaniards behave. Okay, it's extremely weird, which is what I'm trying to say. Like, you cannot go in there, mix with the crowd and pretend that you know how to socially behave, because you will freak everyone out, basically. Imagine if I just walked in and started to give 2 kisses to every British person I meet. They will freak out. They'll be like this, they'll do like that, because they're not used to that, okay? That's what I mean. Like, you need to observe how they behave before you go in with your cultural background and start behaving like that, okay? Just observe, look at how they relate to each other. Don't rush, just adopt and then the attitude of observing first, and then you copy what they do, okay? If they don't kiss each other when they meet, you don't kiss anyone when you meet someone, okay? So it's a process of observing how the locals behave and behaving the exact same way with them, because you have, if you do that, you'll be understood, you'll be accepted, and you'll be integrated, rather than actually being looked at what are you doing, you know? They'll look at you weirdly. Like, you have to think about it. Some of them, if I go and I kiss a British person when I just meet the person, many of them will laugh, okay? But some of them will be like, what are you doing, okay? Or maybe they think I'm interested romantically. I don't even know. This is what I mean. Like, for me, if I go in and I kiss someone in Spain, give the person 2 kisses, that's completely normal. It's like saying nice to meet you, but it's not for a British person. So this is what I mean about observing. Do not go in the crowd and pretend that you know how to socially behave. Just look at how they behave and do the exact same thing. Now, the next big recommendation, guys, is do not take stuff personally. How difficult is that, right? Like, don't take stuff personally. They will laugh at you, they will find you weird, they will find you strange. Some people get you, some people don't. It takes a very open-minded person to understand what you're going through, okay? When you're abroad on your own, the locals don't get you, you know? They have not gone through the same thing you are, which is why you have to value yourself. It doesn't matter they laugh, it doesn't matter that they find you weird. They have not done the same thing. You got to put yourself way higher. You are capable of so much more. So don't take stuff personally. You got the balls in life. You understand me? Like, please. Like, don't take things personally. They will laugh. They will find you weird. You know the typical story of like a young person that moves abroad to a high school. I mean, that was my story like years ago when I first moved abroad alone. Yeah, many of them find you as the weird girl that came from another continent. Yes, they will find you weird, and other people will find you exciting. Other people will really want to talk to you because you're the cool new girl from abroad. What I'm trying to say is, doesn't matter how they take it, how they respond, whatever. Don't take it personally. Just focus on your work. Focus on the way you're improving your skills, your experience. Focus on finding the people that are interested in your background, rather than the people that are gonna make you feel weird or strange, okay? So try to not take whatever happens personally and put in the work on finding great friends, developing your skills, and living an amazing experience. Another tip, guys, is be ready to learn and learn and learn. Like, the journey of learning doesn't ever stop. Like, I've been abroad in the UK for 5 years now, and I feel like I still am learning words. Even though I have a very advanced level of the language, I get them. When they tell me something, I always get them. But still, there's some words that you're like, that the other day that I'm like, I've never heard that before. The other day I was working and it was raining. Okay, you guys know I work and I do shoots and things like that, like modeling, acting and all that stuff. I'm working in film and all that. So the other day it was raining, and I've always learned how to call those kind of shoes that you put on when it's raining. I call them rain boots. That's what they taught me at school, to call those rain boots. Okay, and it was raining and they said, oh, put your wellies on. I'm like, wellies? What on earth is a welly? What are you talking about? And then she comes in with these rain boots and she's like, yeah, your wellies. And I'm like, I didn't know that was a welly. What? What I'm trying to say, I didn't know those were wellies. Okay, what I'm trying to say is there's always something new that you learn, even after 5 years. Even though you have a very advanced level of the language, there's always going to be something new, because it's just slang. You know, there's so much slang language, there's so much cultural language that you just don't learn when you're at school. That's kind of something that you learn from living in the country, and I feel like there's just too much that it will never stop. So there's always going to be a new word. Like I said before, if you're not sure what they said for whatever reason, just please ask your question. Please ask, verify, are these rain boots? Okay. Do you mean the rain boots? And she'll be like, yes, I meant the rain boots. I'm like, okay, yeah, the wellies, great. New word for me. But yeah, there's always something new to learn. So keep an open mind and always keep learning. Okay guys, and my last tip for this video is be patient. Okay, don't bully yourself. Don't think that you have to get it all super fast, because if not, you're just not being intelligent, you're not being smart enough, or you're not being adjusting quickly enough. Like the journey is hard enough. So value yourself, and value that you're putting yourself out of your comfort zone, because you could have decided to stay in your home country. This is what I tell myself every day when I feel like things are getting tough. I tell myself, you know what, like, I could have stayed in Spain, and by the way, I can always go back. Nobody kicked me out from my home country. I can go on a plane and literally give up today. But I haven't done that, because there's so much work on being patient. There's so much pride on being patient and allowing yourself time to soak everything in and to shine your best abroad. It takes time to build the abilities to break through the shyness and to shine your best self abroad if you go on your own. It takes so much time, and you just have to allow it. You have to allow yourself to take the time you need, to be fair. And it's just great. It's great when you can think about professionally working abroad and taking your time to adjust to a country. And if you're only going to study abroad for a year or two, take your time to get used to it. Like, don't pressure yourself, okay? Like, don't beat yourself up. If you don't get it, you don't get it. Maybe you'll get it next month. Maybe you'll get it in 2 months. You know, don't bully yourself. Be patient. Be understanding that you are taking a challenge, and that you did it because you knew that you could do a great job. So be patient with yourself. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. I would love to know where you're traveling, where are you moving, what countries have you moved. If you're like me, you've lived in different countries and you've moved by yourself, please let me know, because you know what, I always want to know from people that did the same thing I did or something similar, because I've met a lot of people that moved like with their family, you know, like maybe their family moved to the UK 20 years ago, but it's never been something like my story of like taking your stuff and like actually just going on your own and working your way up. Okay, so if you've done that, I would love to know if you've done that, where, how was your experience? And for those of you that are watching these and are going to do it, best of luck. I think you're going to enjoy it so much, and I hope these tips help you. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.